we humans are a product of our systems, right? And you may be thinking, well, what do you mean our systems? Systems equal habits, equal routines. What do you do in your daily life? What are you doing every day? Is it helping you get to where you need to be, right? Where you want to be, where God is leading you to be. What do you do every day? Think about it. I do this, I do that. Is that helping me get to my ultimate goal, right? And in the moment, it may be feeling like nothing's really moving. It feels kind of static. But in a routine that you create, right? We may be feeling like, oh, like I do this every single day, like nothing's happening, it's static. But that's how we feel in the physical world. You know what I mean? Like in the universe, in God's world, it is all within his timing and his energy. You know? So we always say like, oh, it's taking too long. I'm trying to be patient, but God does not work on our timing. There is godly timing and there is physical timing. Our physical timing is not real. You know what I mean? Everything is just energy. Everything is energy is flowing through us. And we ultimately just have to surrender. We just have to put that full faith into believing it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And this is why you're struggling with discernment. So, my bad, I'm looking at my notes. I took some notes today, trying to be a little professional. But think about this, like, will you get to where you need to be doing the same thing every day? Yes, you will, if you have the right system in place. So when we think of, oh, this is my regular, these are my habits, this is, I'm not disciplined in this area, I am disciplined in this area. Well, if you're trying to get disciplined in this area as well, everything is well-rounded. So if you have certain energy in your life that is negatively impacting you, negatively making you not disciplined in a certain area, God isn't going to give you what you're asking for. You could pray all day and night, but if you're not well-rounded, if you're sinning over here and being the best person, godly, great Samaritan over here, you can't do both. And that's where it's like, you can't live a double life and expect to have great judgment, to have great discernment, to have all your prayers come to life and be true. Putting full faith into our Creator is what will get you to great discernment. Thinking that, like trying to put a blame or an excuse, it honestly is an excuse just to say, well, I can't do this because I have anxiety, I have depression, I have just examples, I have this, I have that, that's why I can't do this. You are capable of doing anything you put your heart to, you put your mind to, you put your faith into, right? I actually want to read this verse. And just informing, I am learning my relationship with God right now. I am not saying something is right and something is wrong. I'm not saying I'm a pastor. I'm anything more than my perspective in my learning journey right now. This is a non-judgmental zone. So, okay. I want to read this verse on spiritual discernment. After I've been learning and reading verses, reading the Bible, doing my little studying, this passage stands out to me the most on making good judgment if you don't know what discernment means. So, in Corinthians 2:14-15, Paul speaks about spiritual discernment, stating, the person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolishness, and cannot understand them because they are discerned only through the Spirit. The person with the Spirit makes judgments about all things, but such a person is not subject to merely human judgments. This passage ultimately highlights the role of the Holy Spirit and being able to provide that spiritual discernment in truth, right? Well, I'm saying in truth because there's a lot of ways people try to describe it, and this is truth. You know what I mean? It's not just a perspective, it's actual physical fact. You know what I mean? So when I think of discerning and being stuck in a zone where, okay, I'm not in a good discernment mode, it's because I'm not being honest with myself. I used to tell myself, oh, I have anxiety. Like when people around me would say they have anxiety, and then it started rubbing off on me, of course, because everything you're around starts to bleed onto you. Okay? It doesn't matter what it is. If this person's dramatic, you're gonna end up being a little dramatic too. You might be saying, I don't associate with that. Everything bleeds into your life, no matter if it's good or bad, depending on what you surround yourself with. Okay? So anxiety, just all these things, depressed about certain things, losing hope, and these are all demons of the underworld, because I used to say this, and it's because I did not have a repaired relationship with God. I used to say this, and these are like demons that, you know, trick us in our head into thinking, oh, I have to be worried about this. Oh, I have to be upset. I have to be sad. I have to be angry about this. But when I repaired my relationship with the mighty high, it's a different story. I don't feel that anymore. And it's a whole different mind space. It's a whole different body and spirit space. Because now I can make decisions. I can make decisions without questioning myself, without telling myself, oh, well, you have to double take this. Like, of course, it's great to sleep on making big decisions, but if it's like a in the moment thing, this is what's natural now. I have trained myself. And let me know, do you think you're good with discernment, or do you think you still need to work on it? Because I feel it's a beautiful thing to be able to use our intuition, use our mighty source of, making great decisions and judgments upon things, especially when people try to enter our life and we feel like, I don't know how I feel about them. When you don't know how to feel, it's usually, hey Christian, how are you doing? Thank you for your compliments. I'm so glad you're on live with me. We are talking about discernment. How do you feel about your discernment, your path in discerning? So when we're not, okay, let me see. I lost my train of thought. Let me look at my notes. Yeah, so ultimately we were talking about other people. So we let other people into our life, right? And we're like, we have an off-putting feeling about them. We have to listen to that first mind. Let me listen to my first mind, right? And of course, other perspectives are welcome. But if they don't feel this weird feeling and you do, that's your body rejecting the energy, rejecting that person's energy. And thinking about it, if you're not in your like repaired state with discernment, you're going to keep continuing putting yourself around these people and situations and having that nasty feeling of, I'm not supposed to be talking to them, I'm not supposed to be around this, and you're just going to keep feeling that way until you learn to, okay, I'm not just going to do it because everyone else is doing it. I need to do it for my own good, for what my godly path is. Okay? When I switch, like, I don't want to say switched because it sounds kind of weird to me. I would say transformed. Let's say transformed. That word is better. When I transformed and repaired my relationship with God, this is when I learned that I had to make decisions to stop doing things that I was already doing because it wasn't fulfilling. Okay, when we talk about feminine versus masculine, like just, let's say stereotype gender roles, right? Man as provider and protector, woman as taking care of the household, and being in her, like flourishing in her femininity while she submits, right? Think about, women are trained, we're trained to submit, and men are also trained to like avoid emotions, to be like this provider. And society has separated those two, emotions and providing. You can't be both. That's what society's trying to tell us. But God wants us to know that we can do whatever we put our mind to. We can submit and provide in different ways. That does not mean monetarily wise all the time. Providing is just, okay, I'm purely like putting my all into this and showing you that I am a good person. And showing you're a good person by, okay, you're helpful today. Not, I don't want to say today, but like majority of the time you are just always lending a hand, you're providing your services of help instead of just sitting down. Have you seen the movie, the new one? I'm forgetting what it's called, I'm blanking. Where it's new, it's in theaters, it's like where they're in the country and they're in the Wild West, and they are in their like village gets burnt down by the natives, and they continue to move into another village / town, right? And sorry, one moment. I Spy's being loud. Waiting for him to quiet for a second. I'm actually gonna put him outside. Hold on. Come on. Okay, he was distracting. Anyways, they are moving to find another place to live, and they're in their little huts on wheels that they have to get to where they need to be, and they have the horses and everything. So the leader of the village comes up to this guy and this couple actually, and he says to the guy, "What are you doing?" And the guy is like, "Oh, I made this art piece." And he showed him, and then the leader, he was like, "Oh." And then he like threw it on the ground, and he's like, "You see all those men over there? You see how hard they're working just to provide for all of us to get to where we need to be." And he was like, "Oh." Like he just acted dumbfounded, like, ugh, you know what I mean? And then the woman sees that young girls, like teenage girls, are helping the men. Like they're bringing water, they're just helping. And she says, oh, yeah, something about you've made these young women into very helpful young men or something like that. And then he was triggered. Like, okay, you're not doing anything. Why are these young women doing more than you? Right? And I don't want to seem like, how do I say? I don't want to seem like good or bad, negative or positive, but it's like if you see, so this is a part of like the conformity effect as well. When we see other people are doing something, it could go negatively or positively. If you see everyone is helping out, of course you should help out too. That's your right mind. That is your better discernment. You are making better judgment, better calls, instead of sitting on your in the back, not being helpful, right? In that scenario. But if we're talking about like negative, you're making bad judgment, that's a bad judgment right there. You know, we can both agree on that. Oh, you didn't want to help, but you wanted to be lazy while everyone else was working their off for you to be safe. This is what I'm learning in my Bible, my first one. So this side is for the inner world, and then this side is your outer world, right? And this actually reminds me of this saying I want to read to you. So discernment is not knowing the difference between right and wrong. It is knowing the difference between right and almost right. By Charles Spurgeon, I believe I'm saying his name right. I'm not the greatest with names, but I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah, so just talking about, I know I keep saying discernment because that's what we're talking about, but how do you feel in your discernment? Do you feel like you are good at making good judgments? Do you feel like, oh, everything that's going on right now in my life is going exactly how it needs to go, and I'm doing fine, I'm doing just right, like I'm doing well, I'm making good judgments? Because this can change throughout your life as well. You can maintain it, or otherwise, like I would say, for example, when I was younger, I don't feel I had good discernment. I would feel negative feelings in certain places, and I would choose to stay. I would choose to stay in these negative situations because I was young, I was dumb. The basic excuse of I wanted to make a bad judgment. Do you ever feel like that? Like, I don't want to do what's right now. I want to rebel. And that's how a lot of people feel. Like, I just want to rebel. I don't want to make these good judgments. I don't want to live the plan A. I don't want to live plan A. I want to make all these other plans and go all these other routes because plan A is for everyone. Plan A is different for everyone. Your plan A is not equal to my plan A. And if you continue to follow plan A, you will never need a plan B because plan A will keep growing. It's so simple, like, to word it, but it's true. And that's what I'm trying to put out in this channel is just true. 222, thank you God. 222. If you're in PST, it's 222. That's another sign. See, I got a sign yesterday. I'm gonna tell you a very simple yet very clear example of discernment. So I knew how I felt about this certain person ever since I met them. I knew how I felt about them, and I didn't need confirmation because I had confirmation within myself, because this was after my transformation, right? I already knew what they wanted, what their goal was, and I watched a video yesterday where the title stood out to me, as maybe you are doing now. This title stood out to you and you're like, why am I lacking discernment? Right? Well, this goes into it. So I watched this video yesterday and the title stood out to me. And I read it and I'm like, very interesting. And yesterday, the person that I told you I knew how I felt about them, they literally said the same thing that was said in the title. And I'm like, I didn't even need confirmation, but you gave me confirmation. Like, so many people are afraid of negative outcomes, conflict, and this is what brings us to life. Every time you get into it with someone, your adrenaline goes up. You're heated, therefore to say. You're like, oh, I wish they would have done this. And then you're like, oh, let me think, because God only teaches, the devil only tricks and tries, right? I had to think back to that one. Okay, the mind is triggered, and now we got to continue moving in God's way, because those are our old ways. We can't keep going those old ways, those old patterns, those old systems weren't working. And that's exactly why we need to change them. Okay? Our systems can change throughout our lifetime, just like we evolve. We have to get to know people over and over again that we are going to know for our whole life. Family, partner, friends. If you have relations with these people over the long term, you're gonna realize a lot of them will stay the same, but a lot of them will also change and evolve. And oh, they didn't agree with this, but now they do. They never used to do this, but now they do this. They never would have went to this specific environment, but now they go to this environment. They didn't believe, now they believe. So many different things change, and people's minds change so many times throughout their lifetime. Like, tell me in the chat, are you doing now, like career-wise? Let's say career-wise, are you doing now? Are you doing the career you've always wanted to do? What you wanted to do when you were a teenager? What did you want to do when you were a teenager? Maybe you didn't even know what you wanted to do. And now you're just living day by day, living in the present, and, learning yourself as you go, which is totally fine. But I'm asking for those of you that are like, no, I know what I wanted to do, and right now my life is nothing like how I pictured it would be in that time. And that's okay. Everything in life changes. Truth stays the same. Truth cannot change. Just like, what do they say in science with like atoms and stuff, like anything alive you can kill. That's why science and like religion goes back and forth. Science, politics, religion, blah, blah, blah. Like they all go in together, because science says you can kill anything that is alive, right? But then when we talk about just, diseases and like painful, like injuries and stuff, and how to heal yourself. Over here, we're gonna say R&D, okay? We'll say, no, you cannot cure this. When curing what do you mean we can't cure this when this is alive? Anything alive can be killed. That's as far as I'm gonna get into that, because that's deep. That's on another note. But when we talk about discernment, we are also talking about discipline and strategy. I made a previous live to discipline and strategy that I got a lot of good feedback on. You guys really liked that, and I hope that this video as well will help you in making better discernment in your discipline and strategy. So, excuse me, we have five, I think August, September, October, November, December. 5 more months. We have 5 more months to the year. I want you to reflect and think, have I gotten what I needed to get done in the past 6 months? Or maybe you're just like, I don't even know what I wanted to do these past 6 months. I just been living. I just been vibing. I'm a free spirit. Okay, that's cool. But I'm just saying, for the people who like made goals, made a to-do list, made a dream board of what you wanted your life to look like this year, doesn't look like it did on that vision board. And a lot of people I have been speaking with have been saying, no, I haven't done what I really wanted to do in the past 6 months of this year, the first part of the year. And that's why I'm going to focus. I'm going to jet laser focus on my goals in the next 5 months. See, you don't even need this much time to achieve this. And that's what's implanted into our mind, like, oh, your whole life can be changed, switched in 1 year. What if we shorten that number to 90 days? It would make you speed up your life, huh? It would make you go out there and get up every single day to get what you desire. Say, okay, I'm telling you, you have 6 months to get your life in order, else you're going to be fill in the blank of negative outcome. Wouldn't you be like going cool? You would be going crazy on your goals. You're like, I need to get this done because this will be my last day to ever get this done in 6 months. Go crazy. You would go crazy. I would go crazy. You feel me? So making the right discernment, making the right decisions in our discernment, right, and being almost right, like what was it Charles said, is all about like, okay, what is the right decision to make right now? I could not be on live. I could be sitting, scrolling, consuming on the couch. There's a difference, you know. There's a, what am I doing right now versus that, or working on my computer, or going outside and reading, doing my study. There's all different types of discernment, right? And that's why making a list, making a routine, making a habitual checklist is so important. We need to be tracking what we're doing every day in order to know if we are on the right track. Because we can't just keep it all checked up in our mind. Our mind has over how many thoughts a day? Our mind is on 100 all day. And I know every single person I meet says, oh, my mind is just going crazy all day. Yeah, because we're humans. We're humans in a very large world. There's something always going on in our brain, especially now that we have social media. We have social media. We see this whole other part of the world. We see comedy. We see violence. We see action. We see romance. Like everything. We see the whole spectrum online. Of course, our brains are on 10, are on 11.5 every single day. And that's why focusing and that discipline and having that strategy go hand in hand, go together, go in that star figure. And that's where we just gotta connect the dots. We need to connect the dots because I know we're all done. We're done with doing the same thing every single day because we didn't have the right system. We weren't using the right or almost right system if we haven't seen the results we want to. I'm trying to think. Was that? Okay, I got you. Because this reminds me, I always do a Bible study / verse in the morning. I'm trying to see if I sent myself on this phone. I have it on here. Number, and I'm just waiting for it to come through. Right here. Okay. This is Agai 1. Now this is what the Lord Almighty says. Give careful thought to your ways. You have planted much, but harvested little. You eat, but never have enough. You drink, but never have your fill. You put on clothes, but are not warm. You earn wages, only to put them in a purse with holes in it. Think about that. Like, let that sink in for a second, because when you think about it, you're trying to interpret it in so many different ways. That's what our mind does. So how are we supposed to make the right or almost right decisions when our mind is on 10 all the time? We can't focus. We don't have that tunnel vision of where we need to be when we allow these thoughts to take over our head. Thoughts are not true. Thoughts we can put into action, or we stay in stagnancy, right? And this video, this live is very more geared in the direction of being serious. You know, normally we're fun and we're all being light on live, but I want to like really get down and gritty with this, because I am not playing. I'm not playing these next 5 months. Like, you better not be playing either. That's why we're on here. This is why you need discernment, because we're done struggling. We're done surviving. We want to live. We want to live our life. I know everybody wants freedom. I know everybody wants financial literacy, financial freedom, emotional, what do you say? Saving? I would say saving. Emotional saving, because we tend to have like one thing happen to us and let that affect our whole entire life. Let that affect our day after day after day. Why are you letting yourself be a prisoner to your past? It happened. Let it be. Living in your truth, having a better judgment on things. We need to let go. All these things in the past, yes, they happened to us. But what are we doing any better now? Stewing over and over. Why did this happen? Why did this happen to me? Why would they do this? Like, over and over and over. You're gonna let that affect your whole entire life? How is that going to affect your judgment? You're gonna be boo-hoo about everything, negative Nelly about everything. We don't want that. I know you don't want that. I know you want to just live in this like positive, healed, spiritually enlightened, saved, living your best life, doing what you want to do. And I know few people that say, I don't want to do anything. I just want to, live my life sipping margaritas on the beach. Yes, that's amazing. But what are you going to do to earn that lifestyle? We don't just get handed things. God does not just hand us things. Obviously, he gives us challenges. He gives us really good days and really bad days. And that's when people start to stop believing and to not believe, because they think, why would he give me this terrible life? Why would he give me this situation? Why did he put me in this situation? And that's when people get to doubting, into angry mode, into making bad judgments, bad decisions, because they're like, they stop believing. They put themselves in doubt. They take away their faith out of their spirit and solely try to rely on themselves when we cannot rely on just ourselves. Us as humans, we rely on a team. We need a team of individuals. Even if they're not individuals, our higher power. That's our team right there. Being under that wing, under that holy wing. Oh, I love that. Be under this holy wing with me, these holy wings. Maybe that will be the series of this, because I'm Okay, let me just say it. I'm planning to go live every single day for a week in August. Tomorrow is August 1st. Let me know if you guys are thinking we should do August 1st to 7th or if we should start fresh on Monday so y'all could get your weekend right in order, your journaling, your plans in order for the rest of the year, for the rest of the 5 more months that we have. If you need to jot down, like, see, keeping a journal is so important too, because we can't just keep everything tip tap in our head. We need to take it off on the journal. It needs to be visual. Some people put it on their fridge, some people keep it by their bed. I just always keep my journal with me. And even if you don't have it with you, your notes. We all got one of these. We all got a phone. So let's go to my notes. I have so many notes in here. Oh, the last one, making C- decisions, expecting an A+ life. This is discernment 110%. We can't make good judgments if we're making C- decisions. And some people are like, well, how do I make better judgment? How do I have better discernment? It's being honest with yourself. It's listening. It's putting full faith into yourself, into what you believe in. You know, you could be saying, Nade, this is BS. You're telling me I just gotta believe? Think about the placebo effect. Is that fake? No. Placebo is real. You put fake alcohol at a party and people start acting fake drunk. They think they're really drunk, but it's the placebo effect. You are shown that you're ingesting something that makes your mind obliterated, or you're acting different, and then it's fake. Like, you don't even know it's fake alcohol in there. And then you start, you can't tell me the placebo effect is not real. Okay? Like, the blue pill and the red pill, which one are you? Which side are you leaning on? You feel me? I pray that this video gets to, it needs to get to, this message is for you. If you're like, I have been struggling with my discernment this whole past year and I don't know where to go. I don't know where to even start. There's so much I want to do. That's why I'm suggesting get out your journal, get out your pen and paper, and get to writing. Even if it's messy, even if it looks like vomit on the page, just write everything that you want to do. Jot everything down that you're like, I need this to get this done. I need this to get this done, right? And then after you've done that word vomit, just do it on one page. And then after, that's when you organize it. That'll be the first challenge, is organizing the vomit we have in our head. I know that doesn't sound like the best, prettiest saying in the world, but it's true. We need to organize this vomit in our head before we even do any action. Whatever we have in here goes into our body. It lives in our veins, right? We need to think good thoughts in order to put out good energy. And one thing though, I do need to say, discipline does not follow motivation. It is the other way around. Motivation follows discipline. This may seem like a total, but no, like, I don't feel motivated, so I can't do it. No, baby, you need to put that action in, and then you will feel motivated along the way. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate it. But everything we do is not, just because we don't like it does not mean it's a bad decision. I don't like going to the gym. Let me be honest. I don't like going to the gym every morning. It's uncomfortable. Like, I don't like sweating. It's just a annoying feeling. But I do it because I know it's good for me. And that is resting in my disciplined discernment. I used to struggle with it a lot. and we tend to fall off. You know, I stopped going to the gym before because I had a surgery, and you know, I couldn't go to the gym for a week. So afterwards, after I healed up, I'm like, well, I guess I don't need to go anymore. How are we going to get the results that we want if we're not consistent? If we're not making that good judgment for ourselves? If we continue with these broken systems, with these systems from our family, from toxic generational patterns and people around us telling us, you need to do this. This is how you get to where you need to be. Have you been there? This is what you need to ask them. These people who think they know what's best for you and best for your life. Have you been there? Have you made that much? Do you do that every day? You don't know what's best for me unless you do it for yourself. Unless you've already been to the top. Unless you've already been to where I am going. I'm not going to let anyone tell me what to do, not do in my life that has not already been there or is in that better position. Facts, 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 facts. Look, I'm not reading a script. Like, this is totally word coming through me. Like, God wants me to tell you this because it's important. Like, I know so many people who are struggling right now. Like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I just keep doing this because this is all I know. People are afraid of change. And I tell them that, like, you're afraid of change, but I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. You need to want to help yourself before anyone else can help you. You want people to take you serious? Do you even take yourself serious? Let's say, for an example, like, you want to attract a healthy partner, but you're not even healthy yourself. You don't eat right. You don't go to the gym. You sit in the house in isolation mode all the time. You're not working on a side business. You're not working on what you're passionate about. Like, you're totally introvert. You're totally not about your coin. You're totally not about your hygiene. How are you going to attract that? This is like worst case scenario, just saying. But how are you going to attract a healthy partner if you're not healthy within yourself? If you don't take your money serious, no one is going to approach you with money opportunities. I love that one because people want handouts. You may be one of those people, and you need to, like, just acknowledge if you know people like that, or if you are that person that's like, well, I want to be rich, but I don't want to work for it. I don't want to do that work. I don't want to do that. Well, how are you going to get to the next step? We all have to do something we don't want to do in order to get to that next mountain. Until we get to that next mountaintop, what do we got to do? We got to hustle, put in that balance, make better decisions, stop struggling with our discernment, right? Tell me in the chat. I just want to know, do you feel that you are good in making good judgment? Do you feel like your discernment is, tell me at a 1 out of 10 where you feel your discernment is at right now. You feel like 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. My discernment is top notch, top dollar. I'd make every move with my right brain. Or 1 being, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I want to know. Tell me in the chat, like, how you're feeling. What do you think about discernment? And just making better decisions for yourself. Mine has been at a 3. Mine's been at a 7. Mine's been at a 5. Like, and it's okay to make changes, you know? Like, our discernment, our decision making is up and down, up and down. Just like any other data, just like stocks, they go up and down, right? The inflation rate goes up and down year after year, even though it's going up. Instead of seeing our life more like this, up and down, we want it to be like, right? And then, oh, we stay right here for a second, get used to it. Oh, like it's just a very stable energy, having this better judgment and better discernment. We have this better energy of, okay, let me get used to here. That's just like me moving to Cali. I'm from the Midwest. It took me months to get used to living here. Your body is in a complete shock. And that's as an example, moving. When you move somewhere completely different where you don't know anybody, you don't know how anything works there, people, like if you have lived in a different country and come to the US, you're like, this is totally different. It's a culture shock. Your body is shocked to what's going on here because you're like, this is not like my country. And it makes you kind of scared at first. You're like, oh, I want to go back home. Or then you're like, no, I need to stay here because I need to change my life. That is exactly how it is repairing our relationship with God. It's scary. You don't want to do it. You're like, oh, I'm not ready for all that. I'm not ready for my godly path. Or you just keep keep praying on, this is what I want, like, please God, thank you, prayers, thank you for sitting with me through the good and the bad, like just thanking him and then praying for what you really want, right? And then he spits it at you a month later. Say he spits everything you asked for at you, and you're like, wait, I did not ask for that much. Whatever we ask for, when we put in the necessary steps, the necessary work, the necessary systems, he will give it back to us more than we could ever imagine. That's why everyone says, bear the fruits of your labor. We bear the fruits to our labor when we have done enough work in his eyes. Not in our eyes, not in our mind, not in our brain, in our spirit, because we may be thinking, oh, I did enough. And we're halfway there in his eyes. Oh, but I'm almost broken. You may be feeling terrible, you know? You may be at your down, bad, breaking point. And he's like, just hold on. I'm showing you this so you can be strong, so you could be strong in prayer, strong in faith. Stop trying to give up. Stop trying to hold on by a string. I love this. Like, you know when you feel like those little butterflies in your chest? I don't feel it in my stomach. I feel it in my chest, baby. That's real. That's a real spiritual right there. And I want to say this other passage. Let me tell you real quick. Because I feel like it will really help you. It'll really help you in thinking, you know, if you're thinking like, oh, I am losing hope, like I don't know what to do next, I don't know my next move, this is for you. I don't know why it's not popping up right away. Okay. Here. John 4:1. Do you know this? You know this one? Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. Someone actually called me a false prophet. They called me a false tattooed prophet on Instagram like 2 weeks ago, just because I was telling my story, relating my story with scripture. And it's like, don't pastors do that all the time? Don't people who believe relate scripture to their life all the time? That's all we know how to do, is relate our situations to scripture, to the Bible, to God. Like we relate our situations every single day. You know, like that's what we do. But they call me a false tattooed prophet because I wanted to say that. And if you know me, if you know Nade, I say in every single video This is a non-judgmental zone. I am not claiming to be anything but Nade. Someone telling my story, inspiring. I make a lot of glowing up content, lifestyle, health, and wellness, and only want to see everyone around me thrive. Put out what is coming through me, channeling in what is coming through me, and sharing it with you because I feel it's useful. I feel it's important for all of us to continue to evolve and get better and strive to that next mountain. Because when we're at this mountain, there's another mountain right in front of us that's bigger, that's taller. And so many of us want to give up right here. We're like, but we just climbed all the way from down here to get up to this mountain. And now there's a bigger one in front of me. Hey, Blanton, how are you doing? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for coming back and being here with us. I'm talking right now about how we want to give up on this level when we see this next milestone in front of us that I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, I don't want to go that far. And we tend to get in our head, and it's like our head plays tricks on us. Not every thought in our brain is right. It's not all in our truth, in our discernment, right? Do you ever get those feelings that, like, I don't even want to go that far, but I know it's right for me to keep going? We get up every morning, thank God that we're alive, and then what, lay back down? No, that's not living in God's timing, God's path. He wants us to keep going. Yes, exactly. Period. Because when we see that next mountain, it may make us feel discouraged. Like, I just did all that work and you're still telling me I gotta keep going? Thank you, Xavier. Appreciate you. Yes, so we may get discouraged seeing this next hilltop, this next mountaintop, and it's like, but I just did all this work. And it's like, well, he's telling you you didn't do enough work. You're not done yet. You're not done yet, and you're never going to be done. Because you know what? We're going to continue to have highs and lows. This is life. We don't just, on a Game Boy. I'm going to bring it back. Let's go a little old school, okay? When we win on our little Game Boy, and it's like, oh, yes. And there's always the next level. There's never an ending. There's never an ending to the game. We just keep unlocking better and better and better and better. Why would we want to stay at that level and not keep playing? Life. Why would we want to stop playing life when it can just keep getting better and better and better and better and growing, right? We don't want to stay in this like comfortable space where, okay, well now I'm stale. I don't know, like, where do I move now? All we can do is keep going forward. Of course, we take a few steps back when we need to reframe and reset. But what is our ultimate goal? Tell me in the chat, what is our ultimate goal? What is your ultimate goal? When you feel discouraged and you're like, no, I need to keep going. Like, you know you need to keep going, but you feel discouraged. What do? How do you feel when you're like, I need to be in my discernment right now, but I'm struggling. I'm struggling in keeping my good discernment. I want to know in the chat. Let me know how you feel about this. Because my outlook is, okay, I know I'm strong. I know I'm stronger than how I look, how I feel, how I perceive. Because every time we go to the gym, what do? We go a little harder. Okay, I could lift 10 pounds now. I'm not lifting 8 pounds. I'm gonna go up a little bit. I'm little. I'm 5'1". I'm a petite little girl. So, I start with some light weights and make my way up. But it's true. Like, we can't just Everyone wants to be at this top pedestal. We'll say it in workout terms. Everyone wants to lift 100 pounds. Everyone wants to lift their own body weight, right? Oh, I want to show off and show everyone that I can do it. And then you hurt yourself in the process trying to please everyone else, right? We get in our head, devil's playing tricks on us. You need to show out. You need to show out for everyone. Is that a good judgment? No, it's trickery. It's trickery in our mind, And we got to go with our right brain, our right thought, our almost right thought of discernment, of God telling us, no, you do it for you. You can push yourself past your limits, but don't go too far out of where I'm steering you to go, out of where I'm steering your pathway. You may be like seeing two different pathways, and you're like, what? Which way? Which way do I go? Follow your right brain. And that is all in our intuition, in our manifestation, in getting right and putting our full spirit into God. Right? Is that how we're feeling? Let me know in the chat. Like, are you feeling this is relatable, or you're like, this girl is just talking BS? Because it makes sense in my mind, but I want to know that you are like getting a grip of what I'm talking about, because I want it to be able to inspire, to motivate, to help, and really help in our discernment, help in our discipline, help in our strategy. Like, we all need good systems in order to live. We're tired of surviving. We've been surviving our whole life, but now I want to live. Now I want to explore the whole world. Now I'm curious. You may not have been curious then. You may have been fearful. You may have been living in an afraid zone. You may be afraid now. I want to go here, but I'm afraid. What do we do about that? Because we cannot live in fear. Living in fear is the devil also trying us. They're like, oh, I bet you won't. I bet you won't do it. You're not going to do it. You're not good enough. There's that's always this little voice in the back of our head saying like, you're not good enough. You don't deserve it. But not everything we need to listen to. We can tune that out. We could tune that out with doing it, with betting on ourselves and putting full impact, doing that full impact workout. People were looking at me the other day. It was Saturday. I went to the gym, and the gym, you have to walk through the pool area to get to my gym. Everyone was gathering at the pool for a pool party on a Saturday. They had all their drinks. They were ready to tee up on a Saturday. I'm in the gym and I'm breathing hard. I don't care. I used to try to be quiet, but it's like, no, I'm pushing myself for a half hour. I'm not going crazy. I'm not in there for more than an hour. No, all we need is that very high impact for a half hour of the day. I feel it for days after. You know what I mean? Tell me, do you push yourself in aspects and not care what anyone thinks about you? Because if we think about what everyone thinks about us, what everyone sees in us, what they're talking about us, that's going to affect our path, our vision. Don't let anyone get in the way of your impact, your vision. My voice, right now I'm putting out my voice. I don't care what anyone has to say. People say to me, you never used to believe in God. You never used to go to the gym. You never, right? Telling you, you never used to do this before. Don't let people remind you of your old ways, of who you used to be, when you have outgrown that version of yourself by so much. Don't go backwards. Don't go backwards in a negative way. We might Like I said, we might have to take a few steps back to reframe, to adjust, but don't go backwards into our old ways because other people are trying to push that version back onto us. Oh, I remember when you did. I don't want to be reminded of that. Why are you reminding me of that now? Because you talking to the other person, because they're threatened by your growth. They're threatened by your growth. They don't want to see you keep going up and up and up because they don't know how to get up and up and up. Some people don't know how to be better. And I'm going to finish off this live call with a prayer that we are all standing in our strength, and we are all pushing and yearning to be better. We're all going to be better. And we follow these systems, we follow great discernment every single day. I'm praying for everyone on this live, okay? That we follow in our right steps, in our right path, in our right brain, and get right with God, okay? Because we can't live in both worlds. We can't live up high and down low, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. Okay? So thank you for everyone joining from your girl Nade. I am gonna go put out some content on Instagram later. If you don't follow me on there, it is at Nade Payday with 2 Y's at the end. And I am going to go live on Friday on YouTube. So stay in tune. Let's get back on here on Friday at 2 p.m. PST. And I will be putting what that's gonna be about later. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you like this type of content, and I will keep going. Let's go. Have a great day, everyone. Happy hump day.